Optical. Sideshow Attack of the Waitlist. Because are these for real? Because I think people want to know. Well, I know for sure that one's not, because I think you saw this optical C3PO, the Attack of the Clones version. That one went on waitlist. Now it's off waitlist. It's back on pre-order. So kind of like what happened with Chrome Mando. And I think optical, this is why it's so hard to figure out just what the fuck is going on. Because half the time it's like, all right, Peacemaker on waitlist, not coming back. And it's like, oh, Kate Bishop, not coming back on waitlist. Elektra, not coming back. Chrome Mando, coming back though. So it's like, it just, you don't really know what to expect. Maybe Sideshow is doing that purposely, where they're like, you know what, we're going to create a little bit of uncertainty and a little bit of FOMO to get people thinking and have to think twice about not pre-ordering. That's maybe their strategy. Nonetheless, optical, there's some figures from Attack of the Clones that I wanted to share with you that have gone on waitlist. One of them being the Clone Trooper. There's the Clone Pilot. There's the Battle Droid. I was told, someone said in the chat earlier that the Darth Vader, not from Attack of the Clones, but the collector's edition is actually low stock, right? So a lot of stuff went on waitlist today, optical. How are we approaching this? Does this change anything for you? I know these probably aren't figures you wanted, but say they were figures you wanted. Like, would they be something that you feel like the need to pre-order?
Dude, I said this. Everyone can rewind back, and I've said this before. They already got me once with Star-Lord back in 2015. You know, the wait list, and you know, I pre-ordered. I'm not gonna go through that again. However, here's what I would. This is my theory with Spider-Man, right? Are the wait lists real? Why would they do that? Of course, to drive pre-orders, right? Because if there's not a whole lot of there's one guy who's like, it's in Ledger Geek Sideshow. He was just like, oh man, it sucks because it went on waitlist. I wish they have like an alert, you know, when it's gonna go on waitlist. So I just pressed the button. I pre-ordered it. So just like, can you imagine if that exists? No one's gonna pre-order ever. Everyone's gonna
no, because you would just have an alert. Yeah,
I was just gonna wait until it goes waitlist, and then I'll hit the button. You know, it's just like, no, that defeats the purpose of pre-order. Then, you know, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. This is kind of like, oh, so you're just gonna wait till it's over, so we remind you, and hey, you know,
to remind you to actually do it.
Actually pre-order it. I don't know, man. Like, I've never believed in waitlist because I feel like that's a way to drive panic. There's always newbies out there. They're not gonna get me. However, they might be real in a sense that, and it's not because of waitlist, it's because of the prices that we're seeing now. This might not be completely affected by, you know, in art or whatever, but maybe Hot Toys is driving down the price because maybe they're not selling enough. That's why Spider-Man is $280, Anakin is $280, Padme is what, like $290 or something like that. So the prices are going down and the quality is going up. That doesn't sound like Hot Toys to me.
That sounds the opposite of Hot Toys.
That's the exact opposite of Hot Toys. Something's going on here, right? So either dead stock does exist. We know that. Even through the beginning of time, I said it before, I got Batman and Joker for $120 because of dead stock. The people are used to that. But are we pricing ourselves out now, right, with this collectibles? And did Hot Toys notice that? They will be like, you know what? We keep on driving this up. We're gonna price ourselves out, because they could have easily made a Spider-Man for $250 with that suit with no head sculpt and I think put a exclusive tag on it, kind of like Wenwu. Yep. People are gonna buy it, no big deal. But no, they went extra mile. Is it because they're not driving sales as much as they used to? And with no in-art, you know, because again, the in-art is not a competition at this point. Do they take away sales? Sure, maybe. We don't even know that yet. But I think their competition now is just a lot of stuff, and maybe the economy itself. You know, everything's going up, and they figured out that, hey, you know what? We're not a priority for most people. You know, prices are, you know, just going up. So maybe we'll dial it down, maybe put the quality up a little bit. So maybe that would entice them to go back and maybe bring back the exclusivity part of it. That's kind of like where I'm getting here. Not because it's on waitlist. I think they're kind of reverting back so we can make this a priority again. I don't know. I could be wrong here. So, but the waitlist was never a gauge for me, whether, you know, it's like, oh my God, here we go. But the prices, that's what kept me paused. And I was like, this doesn't sound like Hot Toys, where the quality goes up and the price doesn't go up. It actually went down. Crazy. Like, Thor was $310. Don't tell me Thor is so much better of a figure than this Spider-Man or Anakin. Just doesn't make sense. You know,
that's a really good point, Optical, because as of late, Hot Toys seems to be defying precedent. They seem to be defying expectations that they've set for themselves, really, because we've just been monitoring what they've been doing over the last couple of years. But yeah, man, like that Spider-Man at $280 for the non-deluxe version, that's a really good price, man, for movable eyes. Now we're getting movable eyes, looks like, with every figure moving forward, right?
They're not even DX.
Yeah, not even DX. I think they're taking that away from the DX optical. I think that's just going to be something that they're going to probably start implementing moving forward, probably on all figures, right? That sounds amazing. That sounds great. It probably should have been there to begin with, to be honest. But now that it's great, better late than never, bro. Because, I mean, again, whether InArt is making a big impact or not, Hot Toys is probably clearly paying attention, right? And they're saying these guys are offering what they call premium. We're the premium dog, and we're going to make things even more premium and charge less. So that might be a result of competition, a good result. So we'll see. But I will say, optical, I think I'm with you. I think these wait lists are like kind of for real, because I do think that this is probably a real thing, that Sideshow is probably dead tired of sitting on dead stock. They probably are just not thrilled with it. They're like, look, we want to get rid of all this shit. We're tired of having to run sales every week and a half. Like, we don't want to keep doing that forever. It's probably not good for business. So it's probably like, we don't want to keep having to discount shit. Let's order less of these, create a little more demand, or create a little more excitement, just because they're less available, right? I've said this before, optical. It can be like relationships too, right? If you're always available, you're not exciting. Right. Because if you're like, oh, I'm like, if the girl's like, well, you're always there whenever I want, I could call, and you just pick up, and you're like, okay, cool. Like, it's good to be like supportive and helpful, but it's got to be a little bit of a chase, right? There's got to be something in there with that. And I do feel like with this is really no different. It goes that way with life. Anything that's too easy, too readily available, it's not as exciting to you, Yeah. That's kind of why when things become like, how many people really wanted that stealth suit cap? Like, and then people wanted it because there was only 300 of them. Right. And even optical, I talked to Todd about this. When I interviewed Todd from Spec Fiction, the owner of Spec Fiction, he told me once InArt reopened the pre-order window, he got a lot of cancellations on that Joker, because he said that people pretty much outright said that they were thinking it was going to be more exclusive than it ended up being, so they wanted to cancel. Right. That was like proof. I think we all pretty much knew that. Right. But it was kind of like, it was interesting to hear him actually say that. And I was like, damn, that's it. Yeah. It matters. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, having these a little more readily available, now Sideshow's got people's attention. They're kind of like, okay, you want this shit? You did you really want a battle droid? Because we're about to find out. And then you get on that wait list, and then they got you then, right? Because your wait list is probably going to convert. Let's be real. Like, it's probably going to convert. But in optical, you're right. There are other places to buy these. It doesn't have to be Sideshow. You could go to, I think Alter Ego sold out of these, but you go to Alter Ego or Comic Concepts or wherever, right? You can Pop Culture. Yeah. Like, you can get other, you know what I mean? So I do think it's for real. I do think they're taking it seriously, but I do think with more popular figures, I would not be as ready to jump, like Darth Vader, for example. Like, this is the collector's edition. So the reason they're probably putting that low stock is because no one really wants the collector's edition. Everyone wants the deluxe version, and Sideshow knows that. So they're not going to stock a shit ton of collector's edition when they know people aren't going to really buy it. Because who's really going to buy it when you could buy the deluxe version with the helmet too?
Right.
For like $30 more. Yeah. Like, everyone's going to pick the deluxe. That's just a given, right? Then they know that. It's kind of like buying Green Goblin without the glider. You're right. Like, you're going to buy him with the glider if you buy him. So that's kind of what I would say. What do you think, Optical? Is there anything else to add to that?
I you know what? Like, here's what I would say. I still am in a no poll situation right now. Like, I'm not pre-ordering anything, and that's me. I'm gambling. I don't suggest that to anyone unless you can afford not to have one. And I could, with so many figures, I don't lose sleep over any figures anymore. So the more savings I have, the better for me. And I'm gonna stick with that for now. I always feel like, hey, if I miss one on something, then I'm gonna overpay. If I really want something, then I'm willing to overpay. But I'm betting on myself here. Yeah. But with the current trend of these prices, leads me to believe that we're correcting the market. The market is correcting itself now. Yep. Because we have an influx back in 2020 where people are just buying stuff, and that led to higher prices, more demand. There was like less stock, so they increased the prices. So we saw steadily increase the prices, but now the prices have actually gone down compared to Thor, and the quality went up. So something's up, right? Like, something's not adding up, because normally we would be like, if Anakin was 330, are we really going to be like, well, that was expected? He has, he has purse. It's kind of brand new, and no one's going to bat an eye, especially with Thor prices, and Obi-Wan kind of like in that realm. If Anakin was 320, we're not going to bat an eye. But no, it was 280. If this Spider-Man was 310, we'd be like, hey, because it has purse. No, but it's also 280. So something's going on. That's where I was just like, maybe their sales. It's one thing to have dead stock. It's one thing that you're not making enough money out of it, So I think that's what's happening here. So you'd be like, okay, we dial it down, we get them hooked again. We gotta be a priority with these guys, because right now there's too many of these things floating around the market. So I think we gotta correct ourselves, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
That's a really good point, Optical, that I didn't think of, that Hot Toys is maybe market correcting a little bit in terms of like, hey, maybe we need to look. America's in a recession. And remember, Optical, we used to always hear like Hot Toys doesn't care about the United States. I don't believe that. I don't believe, like, they used to be like, well, Asia's like their main market. They don't really care about, it's a drop in the bucket. Like, I mean, maybe it's accurate. I just don't believe that at all. Look at all the items. They're selling all US properties. Like they're selling. Yeah,
dude, this is the circle of Hot Toys, right? I was like, oh, they don't care about the U.S. market. I was like, why do they make Star Wars? Because
no one cares about Star Wars.
Because Howard is a fan of Star Wars, and then they make more Iron Man. And I was just like, why do they make more Iron Man? Because it sells. It was like, dude, is the guy a philanthropist because he just loves it, or he's a businessman?
He's a philanthropist.
It's just like, dude, pick a lane here. It was just like, does he just wants? He makes what he wants. No, Star Wars sells in the U.S. That's why he makes it. So right. The Iron Mans, the repaint, yes, the Asian market loves that, but the repaint, it doesn't cost them anything. Star Wars actually does, to get that mold and that sculpt again, that Padme, he actually he spends money out of those. So yeah, we let's be honest here. I mean, US is the number one priority of the world.
I think so. I think it might be. Yeah, it's yeah, man. We're gonna see, but I do think the wait lists are for real. So I do think people should pay attention, but I'm not so sure that they should panic. So
me too. It's people pay attention. If you like something really that much, I would say pre-order it. But if it's like in your case again, like in the C tier,
right?
Maybe sit on it and then see if it goes on sale. If it doesn't, then it doesn't go on sale. You lost one. So
yeah, and like I said, dude, sometimes if it's a certain like tier 1 type character, then you're willing to probably overpay for it. Like Cloud and the bike, I paid $800 for that because I had to, because my pre-order fell through and I had to get a Cloud. So I was like, well, it was like what, 450, 500 retail, and I paid 800 for it, right? Because Cloud is tier 1 for me. So that's why. Yeah, sometimes you got to. I mean, you don't want to do that for a battle droid, but but for another character, I mean, this battle droid will pop up. It'll be around.
I feel so.
Yeah, it'll be around. So don't panic too much, guys.